Welcome back to another video. Today we are in the Gray Leaf Fantasy Cup, and let's see if we can get some wins here. So we're going to be trying out the team featuring the Galarian Weezing paired with the Stunfisk and the Azumarill on the back. Here we are going to be able to get to this Sludge versus this Azumarill, so we're going to fire it off. It does deal some super effective damage, chunks away at the Azumarill health, and here we're going to shield potential Hydro Pump coming in, and we do shield the correct Hydro Pump. So we're going to be able to spam these sludges pretty fast here. We already add another move here, so this is going to get the shield or is going to get the KO. Let's see what our opponent ends up doing. They do decide to shield it, and we're trying to get to another sludge, but they are going to be able to reach another move here. We're going to allow it to go through it. It's only a play rough, so we force them to switch out. They go to the Escavalier here. We're going to fire off this overheat. This is going to get the shield or get the KO, and now we can come back in with our Azumarill for the Hydro Pump. This is going to just be some chip damage. The Drill Run doesn't deal that much damage. We are going to be able to reach this Hydro Pump before they get to their next move. This is going to KO, I believe. Yep, good. And now we have the potential Azumarill still, and they realize that their chances of winning are slim. So GG's our opponent able to win that game with a combination of the Galarian Weezing and the Azumarill. Mainly the Weezing dealing a ton of work. All right, here we got the Registeel versus the Weezing. So we are not really applying a lot of fast move pressure. It's going to be mainly these charge moves. We're going to go for this overheat right here, dealing as much damage as possible, but we are going to get debuffed. So our opponent is going to be able to throw this move here, and we do switch out into the Stunfisk. We know that we can take a move, so we have a choice. We can let it go or shield it, but we're going to decide to shield it and see what they have. They end up having the Azumarill in the back, so we're going to fire out this Earthquake. This Earthquake dealing roughly 15 to 20% right there. You're going to be able to get to another Earthquake, and let's see what they decide to throw. They potentially could have Hydro Pump, and they probably will throw the Hydro Pump. There's the Hydro Pump. Okay, makes sense. And now we have to take out this Azumarill now with only one shield. We do have some residual energy on our Weezing, so we're going to fire off this Sludge right before they get to their move. This is going to get the shield or it's going to get the KO. They decided to shield and then switch out. So our opponent here gives us an opportunity to use our Azumarill in a better spot here. They are going to throw the Earthquake, doesn't quite KO, and then our opponent here is going to have to think about shielding or letting this go. We're going to go for this Hydro Pump right here. They do decide to shield. And now they still have 3 Pokemon available, so this is definitely opportunity to shield right here to keep this Azumarill quite healthy. Basically our tankiest Pokemon left. They are going to be able to get to another Earthquake here. They switch out into the Reggie. We are going to be able to farm down. They try to get us to use all that energy, so what are they going to bring back in here? They bring back the Azumarill. We're going to fire off of this Play Rough. It does take out the Azumarill, and now we have to get to this move. Oh, unfortunately, we are not going to be able to fire off that Play Rough. We basically needed one more move, and unfortunately, they were able to... oh, wow, we still didn't get him with that Sludge, so that is unfortunate right there. GG's to our opponent. We needed to either throw that Play Rough or potentially try to go for the overheat with our Weezing right there. Next game, we have the Skarmory. Terrible matchup, so we're going to switch on to the Stunfisk. We draw out the Haxorus. Haxorus here is very spammy, but not very tanky, so we do get the shield right there, and then we're going to go for the Earthquake immediately. So this is either going to get the shield or it's going to get the KO. We do get the KO, and just like that, we have not only flipped the switch, but we also grabbed the shield, so this is looking really good for us. Now, this... it's going to be throwing Dragon Claw. The Como-O is, I think it's a Poison Jab fast move. So we are going to be able to resist the fast moves and trying to get to another move here. Our opponent does save some energy, and we're going to be able to throw this Rock Slide back at this Skarmory. So Skarmory here, unfortunately, is down a shield, and we do have 2 shields, so they realize that it's going to be pretty tough to win that game, and they decided to leave. So GG's to our opponent. Basically, we just had to double shield that situation and come up with a ton of energy for that Como. Here we go. Next, we got the Mirror Weezing. Always kind of tricky. Let's see what moveset they're running, and let's see what they're going to be trying to use. So here we're going to go for this Sludge. The Sludge right here is going to chip away at the Weezing. Our opponent does go for the Overheat. debuffing their attack and also letting us have an opportunity to KO with their own overheat here. So the sequencing right there was kind of reversed. We go for the overheat second, and we are able to KO. So here they have the, okay, Registeel, and we're going to go into our Stunfisk after the Weezing goes down. We know this is going to be a Focus Blast. We tank the move. And then now here, we just got to make a decision. Do we go for the Earthquake or do we go for the Bait? We decided to go for the Earthquake. Huge damage goes through. We're going to fire out this Rock Slide to avoid getting another move off. And then we're going to switch out into the Azumarill, and they do have the Excadrill in the back. That has almost no chance because we do have 2 shields, and you can see these bubbles just alone have taken it down below the 50% mark, and we're going to be able to farm down no matter what. So GG's to our opponent, able to win that game with the Azumarill in the back, applying a lot of pressure with the bubbles. So this is a kind of an interesting team. We got the Weezing with the Stunfisk core, and it's pretty decent considering the composition. The Azumarill is just a staple in the Fantasy Cup. Here we have the Weezing versus this, what is that, Kartana. We're going to go for this Sludge Bait. We do grab a shield, which is fantastic, and they are going to be throwing a move right before we get to the potential overheat. So we're going to shield here, and this is going to either grab the second shield or it's going to get the KO. Let's see what our opponent ends up doing here. They let it go. The overheat does take out the Kartana. And then we see the Giratina. So Giratina in Great League, pretty interesting. It does get to the Shadow Ball right there, but it's pretty fragile. Here, we're going to have to throw this Earthquake right back at this Azumarill. Now, the Azumarill here, is going to try to farm us down, but not before we get to another Earthquake. Already getting this Azumarill into the red is pretty decent. We try to get to another Rock Slide, but it's not going to happen. We're going to go into a Weezing here to try to soak up some energy. We do soak up an Ice Beam versus this Azumarill, and now we have the mirror matchup. We know they have Ice Beam. They're probably running Ice Beam Player Up. Yep, there it is. And now we have to just make sure we throw in good timing here. We're looking to see if we can farm down. I don't think we can farm down without taking another move, so we're going to fire off this Player Up. It does grab that shield. So we have a decision here to make. Do we shield here or do we shield later? We decided to shield later because this Giratina is going to potentially deal more damage with that Play Rough. We throw a whole Play Rough right here. It does deal a huge amount of damage. And this is where we use our shield. No matter what, they're not going to be able to get to another move. We're going to be able to farm down, come out with a, well, close to a Play Rough. One more fast one to the Play Rough. And we are going to be able to take out this Azumarill as well. So GG's to our opponent, able to win that game with the Azumarill, just gaining a ton of energy. So check out this team if you haven't already, and let us know if you enjoyed the video.